of Christian Cadajas E. Cabias versus People of the Philippines involves a petition for review concerning his conviction for child pornography under Section 4C2 of the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012 or RA number 10175 in relation to the Anti-Child Pornography Act RA number 9775. The petitioner, a 24-year-old man, induced a 14-year-old girl to send him explicit photos through Facebook Messenger. He was charged, tried, and found guilty beyond reasonable doubt by the trial court and the Court of Appeals. The courts ruled that the petitioner manipulated the minor into sending explicit images, which constitutes child pornography under the law. Despite his defense of being in a romantic relationship with the minor, the courts held that this was irrelevant as the law strictly prohibits such acts regardless of consent given the victim's age. The petitioner contested the evidence's admissibility, claiming a violation of his privacy rights. However, the court ruled the evidence valid as it was obtained by the victim's mother and not by state agents. The Supreme Court affirmed that the decision with modifications sentencing him to reclusion perpetua and a fine of 1 million pesos. The facts of the case are that Christian Cadajas, a 24-year-old man, entered into a romantic relationship with 14-year-old AAA, communicating through Facebook Messenger. Despite objections from AAA's mother, BBB Cadajas continued the relationship and coerced AAA into sending explicit photos of her private parts. BBB discovered the explicit messages and photos by accessing AAA's Facebook account. As a result, Cadajas was charged with violating the Cybercrime Prevention Act or RA number 10175 in relation to the Anti-Child Pornography Act or RA number 9775. He was found guilty by the trial court, which sentenced him to imprisonment and imposed a fine. The Court of Appeals affirmed the conviction with modifications. The Supreme Court upheld the decision, ruling the evidence valid and rejecting Cadajas' claim of a consensual relationship, modifying the sentence to reclusion perpetua and retaining the 1 million fine. The issues of the case are: number 1, admissibility of evidence. Whether the evidence obtained from Cadajas' Facebook Messenger account by the victim's mother, BBB, violated his right to privacy should be considered inadmissible. Number 2, legal interpretation of child pornography. Whether Cadajas' actions of inducing AAA to send explicit photos through Facebook Messenger constitute child pornography under Section 4C2 of RA number 10175 in relation to RA number 9775. Number 3, relevance of consent in a romantic relationship. Whether Cadajas' defense of being in a consensual romantic relationship with AAA is valid in light of the laws protecting minors from exploitation. Number 4, burden of proof and guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Whether the prosecution was able to prove Cadajas' guilt beyond reasonable doubt for the offense of child pornography. Number 5, penalty imposition. Whether the penalty imposed by the trial court and modified by the Court of Appeals is proper under the law, including the imposition of reclusion perpetua and a 1 million peso fine. The Supreme Court ruled to uphold the conviction of Christian Cadajas for child pornography under Section 4C2 of the Cybercrime Prevention Act, RA number 10175, in relation to the Anti-Child Pornography Act, RA number 9775. The court found that the evidence obtained by the victim's mother, BBB, from Cadajas' Facebook Messenger account was admissible as it was obtained by a private individual and not through state intervention. It dismissed Cadajas' sweetheart defense, holding that consent is irrelevant in cases involving minors under the law. The court also affirmed that the prosecution proved his guilt beyond reasonable doubt as Cadas coerced the 14-year-old victim to send explicit photos of her private parts. The Supreme Court modified the penalty to reclusion perpetua and retained the fine of 1 million peso fine. This case highlights the importance of protecting minors from exploitation in the digital age as emphasized by Republic Act No. 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act. It demonstrates how technology, while a tool for communication, can also be misused for harmful acts such as child pornography. The case reaffirms that any form of sexual exploitation involving minors, especially through electronic means, is strictly prohibited and punishable under the law, regardless of claims of consent or romantic relationships. It underscores the principle that consent from a minor is immaterial in cases of exploitation, as minors are considered incapable of giving informed consent under the law. The case also reinforces the admissibility of evidence obtained by private individuals when it is used to protect the rights of others or uphold justice. Overall, this serves as a reminder to be vigilant in the use of technology and the need to uphold laws designed to safeguard vulnerable individuals, particularly children, from exploitation and harm.